What's next for you? Have you ever been asked this question? If you've been working for 2-3 years, it's very natural to get this question. Take a pause and think, as this can be the turning point for you to move to the next level and see if you're ready for it. From doing to managing, that is becoming a manager now. From doing to also leading. When you become a manager, you're not just responsible for your own work, but you're responsible for the work of your entire team that is assigned to you, where you'll have to guide them, motivate them, and you have to develop each and every individual of your team member, which means you're developing a team for yourself. Now, this can be a very scary and a challenging moment when you are moving from an individual contributor to a manager. But with the right mindset and preparedness, this can be extremely rewarding. So get ready to come out of your comfort zones, as today we're going to be talking about how to shift to being a manager. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Sonia, your host and companion on Thinking Out Loud Thursdays. Grab your cups of coffee and let's get started with our today's episode. But have you subscribed to my channel? If not, then what are you waiting for? Please hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, because every Thursday I bring new episodes for all of you, which in some way will add value to your career, which will add value to you as a professional when you start working. So let's get started. When you're moving from being an individual contributor or a single employee to managing a couple of team members, you need to then redefine success. What does success mean to you? Because see, when you are an individual contributor, you are part of somebody else's team, whereby you are responsible for your own task, for your own targets that are given to you, any responsibilities that you have to fulfill those responsibilities. And hence you know that, okay, fine, if I finish this, which means I've got a success in this. But when you start managing a team, then you're no longer an individual contributor. Your team's success is going to be your success. The performance of the team is going to be your performance. And this will require a mindset shift. From your personal achievements or accomplishments, making a shift to enabling your team to perform. So here you'll have to shift your focus from your personal growth to the growth of your entire team. And at the end of the day, it will give you immense satisfaction. If your team is succeeding, you will get a very different thrill altogether. Trust me, when you start getting into those roles where you are managing the teams, it gives you immense happiness that you are contributing to somebody else's growth as well. For example, if you were into sales and you were given, okay, fine, you have to do X number of sales every month. So you know that, okay, fine, you've achieved your target. You get a little kick out of it that, okay, fine, I was able to achieve the target. Now, when you become a sales manager, you are going to be having a team of sales executives who will be having their own targets, and you will then help your team to achieve those targets. You will motivate them. You will make a plan. You will figure out how the team will achieve the target. And once the team targets are achieved, the team is going to feel very motivated. They're going to be very happy, and you will get a very different kind of a kick or a thrill out of it. Along with redefining your success, you will also have to develop an emotional quotient. See, managing people requires different set of skills. Your emotional quotient is going to be very important, as it will help you understand and respond to your team's emotions, build trust, collaborate with them, develop those nice bonds with your team members. And how you can do that? By listening to them. What are they saying? So please listen to them and empathize. Adapt your communication style basis your team. So if your team member is facing some personal issues and that is the reason the team member is not able to focus on work, then you really need to spend some time with that team member, figure out what is the issue that the person is facing. Say if you want to give him a break, or maybe he requires maybe 1 or 2 days leave, and figure out what's happening in his personal life and then come back. Please, then you need to do that. That you will only get when you start being very empathetic towards them, when you start developing that emotional quotient. I have seen that, when we are individual contributors, when we are a single person, not managing a team, and we are working under somebody, now at that time, it's very easy because we are in control of things. We know what we are doing, and we are keeping a check on our progress on day-to-day basis. But when we start managing a team and when we have to start delegating stuff, That's where the problem arises. You need to make sure that you start delegating things in a very effective manner, because we are not ready to let go of the work that we were doing. Now somebody else is going to do that. You need to learn to let go, and don't start doing things or don't start hovering around your team members' heads to say what is happening on that, what is happening on that. Stop micromanaging at that time. You need to learn to trust your team that they will also deliver as you were delivering when you were part of somebody else's team. Because when you start micromanaging, that hurts the team's morale, motivation. You will see that the team is drifting apart, not just drifting apart, but they're drifting away from you. So you need to learn how to delegate effectively, let go of things that you were doing, you were managing, and now somebody else is going to manage. Try to focus on how your team can manage things properly without you trying to interfere in their day-to-day tasks. Learn to trust them and always assign tasks basis their strength. So if somebody is good in presentations, somebody is very good in maybe content writing, or somebody is very creative in your team, or somebody makes very good strategy plans, then accordingly assign tasks to them. If you're giving targets to your team, then please make sure that they create a strategy, they come up with a plan and they present it to you. Instead of you giving the target and you giving them a strategy and a plan also, that how will you achieve the target? Let them come up with a plan and a strategy, and that you will be surprised when you see that your team is presenting you how they're going to be achieving the target. And then of course you can guide them, you can mentor them, you can coach them, because that's what your role is now. And when you start managing a big team, or there are certain people who are reporting to you, there is one thing that you need to also be very careful of: time management. Because here you're now juggling with multiple responsibilities and multiple tasks. There are meetings that you have to do. You have to write a lot of emails, read a lot of emails, meet up with your teams, meet up with your seniors that you are reporting to as well. So there is a lot of additional responsibility comes in, and that requires you to focus on, and that you can only do if you're able to divide your time in a good manner, so that you're also on top of your things. How can you do that? You can start doing that by creating a prioritization checklist, that what are the things that are most priority, or they're very important, they need to be done right now, and things that can be delegated to your team, start delegating it to your teams. Like creating of weekly reports or monthly reports, start delegating that to your team and let your team do that. Guide them. Because when you're delegating, you're also trusting, putting a trust into them that yes, your team will be able to do the task. And when you're doing all of that, you need to please keep that in mind, that you have to lead by example. Your actions, your work ethics, your attitude will set the tone for your team. So be consistent, be very transparent, and be honest, and say if there is any deadline approaching and there is another task that is given to you, and you wanted to delegate it. So instead of delegating it, roll up your sleeves, get on the floor, start working with your team. Because when your team sees that you are working with them and you are not just pushing a lot of pressure just to them, that okay, fine, this is additional responsibility coming, you guys have to somehow adjust and include that in your day-to-day work. So instead of doing that, you're also helping them. Wherever they are needing help, you are helping them, and you're trying to ease a little burden also of them by getting your hands dirty. Also learn how to celebrate wins of your team members, and also learn from failures. When you're an individual contributor, you know where you failed and what is the lesson that you're taking from your failure. But when you start managing a team, the success is going to be very different, and the failures will be also of very different nature. So if any team member is failing time and again into meeting his deadlines, or he's always late in submitting a particular report, then that failure, you'll have to look at why it is happening. The team is performing very well, you need to celebrate that. If somewhere the things are going very wrong, then you need to figure out a way how to fix that, how to keep the team very motivated, spirited up, and happy working with you. You can only do, say, if the team is failing into something, don't just go and tell your bosses that my team did not perform, because you are the leader for that team. They look up to you. So if any failure happens, please take onus of it. And don't just blame the team every time for it. Always promote or create a culture of learning within the team. Teach them how to look at data, how to analyze that data, what went wrong, how we arrived at that figures, figure out how to promote that culture of learning. Maybe you could, every week, you could probably have like a 15-minute session where a particular topic you can choose and you can just share whatever your experience has been and ask for if anybody wants to add questions or if anybody would like to even contribute to that particular topic. So maybe you could do this on a weekly basis, or you could organize a training. Say you want your team to be very good communicators, so you can actually then liaison with HR to see if a training can be organized. Your team is going to be very happy with it. Please promote a culture of learning within the team. And lastly, please be fair and neutral. It's very human tendency that we tend to like some kind of people and we don't like some kind of people, right? Now, there is no choice given to you. You have a team. You can't say, okay, I like these 2 people, but I don't like those 3 people, so I don't want them to be part of my team. You really cannot do that. You have to learn to be fair and neutral to all your team members, irrespective that you have some favorites. But when you are evaluating, whenever you're doing any performance reviews or appraisals, you have to be neutral. You cannot have your favorites and, okay, fine, one person was very lazy, did not meet the targets, but you still give that person a promotion or a salary rise, whereas the other person, you don't tend to like that person, you're uncomfortable with that person, but that person has really worked hard, met the targets, was always on time, and you don't give him that salary rise. Now that you need to make sure that there are no unfair working practices, because that will lead to your team not trusting you. They will not respect you as a leader. And if the team stops taking you as a leader, then you're no longer a manager also, no? They stop looking up to you as their leader or as their manager, then, you are just working as an individual contributor and you're not working as a manager. If there are any conflicts arising, if the 2 team members are having a very difference of opinion, then you need to make sure that with the right approach, being neutral and being fair, you are trying to resolve that conflict also. You hear both sides of the views and then you can give your opinion. You need to always try to find a common ground. Now, this transition from being an individual contributor or an individual team member to becoming a manager can be a challenge. But yes, after getting out of college, starting a career or starting your first job was also a challenge, but you sailed through it, right? So even this phase, every new thing that you try will always look like a challenge in the beginning, but as you keep working on it and keep working on it, you will see that, you start enjoying that new thing, because that's the only way you grow up the ladder. You grow and you expand your role and your skills. So focus on this mindset shift. Focus on your growth and the growth of your team, and always be open to learning. On that note, we come to the end of our episode. I really hope that you found value in this. And if there's anything else that you'd like to add, please leave a comment for me. Thank you for watching me, and I'm going to see you in my next video. But before you go, hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bells. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.